Shout out to Ask a Brother with Jeff St. James. I mean, since he's known as the Black Therapist, I've done videos on him. He has been in my comments, so shout out to the brother. Ever since he went viral, the first time I did a reaction to his video from Lapif, he had way more subscribers than him. I think he had like 3,000 or something like that. Now he's at almost 15,000 subscribers, man. That's what happens when you speak the truth and people believe in it and people support you. So shout out to the brother.
Never hear me say I don't need a man. And
No.
you'll never hear me say that I can do this without it. I know that I cannot, but I
Mhm.
have to. This is what
Question,
I'm saying. I
Bo. I
need
have a question
one,
for you.
but I have to do it without because they're just not here.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
interrupt.
question.
Gotta
So
interrupt.
question for you, real quick. So when you say I have to, I'm trying to choose the right man, right? She's trying to choose the right man.
Damn,
I'm
what is
trying to make the right decision, and I'm like, cool. My view is that when we've been doing this for so long, and we're kind of,
I don't know
Bo,
what.
sorry, Bo. What I was kind of alluding to was when you're making statements, and this is how normalized it is. How we don't even realize some of the ways in which we're describing this stuff, how it can be a part of certain systems. Like sometimes we'll espouse things and it actually sounds kind of Marxist in nature. Sometimes it sounds kind of socialist in nature. It's the same thing when it comes to feminism. If the patriarchy was one in which you wouldn't have been making all of these moves and decisions on your own by default when it came to these men anyway. So, in order for you to arbitrarily go from man to man to man to date and figure out sexually, emotionally, psychologically, marriage, that is that sexual liberation. That is feminist.
mm,
So, for even for you to, you're so far down in the weeds that it's almost like it it's like somebody who was born only seeing black and white and trying to describe to them what color looks like.
That's facts. And because you can think about cultures that still do arranged marriages. I think in India they still do that. But for the most of the Western hemisphere, oh my God, I can't even speak. Most of the Western countries, Western cultures, the women now make their own decisions in terms of who they want to marry, who they want to date. So, in other words, the parents, especially the dad, is never involved when the women are picking. You know, when they're choosing their husbands or their boyfriends, right? Fathers never even they never know. Fathers would be so great in helping because men know what other men are all about. You know, that's why men are usually supposed to ask for their father's for the father's approval, blessing for the daughter. But most women these days make their own choices. Remember, my body, my choice. But at the end of the day, the woman will have 20 different men. On the low end, I'm talking about from 18 all the way from 45. But she will still blame men for the choices. Because remember, they don't approach, the men approach them, but she will still blame men for the choices she makes in men.
mm.
You're describing about the after effects of what's not working and what you've tried and why your mom had to teach you certain things. What I'm suggesting is it's not the issue about the job. It's not the every decision that you made was a product of the sexual liberation movement. You got to pick your spouse. You got to pick who you could have sex with.
Mm.
You could decide if you wanted to get divorced. All what I'm saying is a patriarchal. I'm not even saying patriarchy is
Look at her
fine. What
face.
I'm saying
Guy,
is
wait. I know James is cooking, but look at her face. She's acting like as if he's lying. Everything he just said, that's exactly that's what they do. They pick and make choices for everything they do when it comes to partners.
the opposite of what you did would have been a father figure, an uncle, a father, a grandfather. They would have been the buffer from you making some of the decisions that you made that you felt that you made out of emotion, out of
Facts.
feelings,
Why is
and
she
it just
saying
didn't
no?
work out.
No, they
So,
taught me the same thing.
No, they
so,
did.
as an example, unless you think how old are you, Bo?
I'm 44.
Okay. Unless you think that your mate selection option choices is incredible from when you started dating till 44, there
It's
was
not.
supposed to be a buffering factor so that you're not 44 years old still having this conversation.
That's usually the
The,
dad.
the issue is not that you're stupid. The issue is not that you're immature. The issue is all these ancient civilizations that did it a different way. We in the modern world think we're smarter than them. Maybe there was there was something there that they had in place to prevent this thing from happening. And I'll give you an example. Um, when I talk to women about this whole things not working out, in and out of relationships, lengthy periods where they're just not having success. And when I'm finding out what's the reason for why you're leaving, this guy doesn't communicate, this guy cheated, this guy this guy that. And I asked them a simple question. If you had to choose between one man that you gave 20 chances to or 20 men that you give one chance to, which would you choose? Your lifestyle, and I'm not saying you, I'm saying women's lifestyles that are single that are off and on and not successful long term for 10, 15, 20 years, is that they're choosing the option B. They keep giving these chances to men that were supposed to be vetted by somebody else other than your emotions.
Ooh.
That's facts. Because even back in high school, you guys remember, it was so hard to date girls who had fathers in the house. Because you know at some point, the girl is going to take you home to their house. The girl is going to have to introduce you to the father. The fathers who are strict, the fathers who are really, raising their girls right, their daughters right. If you were dating one of those girls, you better believe she's going to have to take you to meet the father. You know why most guys were scared of that? Because they knew the father would see through their bullshit. If he's a real stand-up guy, the father would notice. If he was a guy who ain't shit, the father would still notice, and the father would tell the daughter, stay away from that type of guy. But guess what happened? Because these women grow up with single moms with no fathers, and they see the mom moving from man to man to man to man, and to them it's okay. Guess what the daughters are going to do? The daughters are going to do the same thing once they grow up. They are not going to learn to be with just one man. So what they're going to do, they're going to leave like exactly what the single moms were doing, their mothers were doing, moving from man to man. Because the kids see these things happening. You feel me? Because the kid is going to grow up 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. And the kid is thinking, how come my mother doesn't have one steady guy? As the kid grows, the kid sees the mother switching men and men and men and men, in and out, in and out. Guess what the kid is going to do? The kid is going to do exactly what the mother was doing, especially the daughter. You feel me? So Jeff is right.
That is feminism. You were not designed to go through 20 men, through 22 decades of trying to figure it out on your own. And now you have to do survivability politics. The job is the job. That's dope.
Look at her. She
I'm
doesn't
proud of
like
you.
it.
You're established. You're independent. You got a lot of dope things going on. The process of what you were doing between dating, sex, marriage, situationships, all that trauma and disappointment, somebody was supposed to stop that shit.
The dad, the father. Look
And
at her
you were
face.
never designed to do this.
Facts.
So when I say the level of depth of how much we've been saturated with this shit is why our community is what it is now.
Look at her face. She doesn't like it. I mean, obviously this one doesn't like it either, but look at her face, the disgust. Just because the man is cooking. I mean, for the first time, I'll give Sean some credit, because Sean is always like trying to debate and argue every point. But Sean seems like, and Ty too. No, Ty looks good. Sean seems like the only one who's receptive. But look at the face, man. No wonder she's 44 and single. Can you imagine coming home to such a face? Like every time you're trying to explain something to her that makes sense, she's going to look at you like you're dumb. The disrespect.
So when the black man is telling you
Look,
And I'm not saying like you got to listen to me. What I'm saying is a black brother is trying to tell you
look
there
at her
is
face.
a ideology that influenced and put us in the position that they convinced a generation of women that sexual liberation was a benefit to them and not men. Okay? Men who got the options love y'all sexual liberation. More power to you.
Facts.
Love it. And hold on. And I ain't got to meet your father.
What?
And some of y'all gonna give
Mm-hmm.
me kids and I ain't even gotta meet your family.
I
Mm-hmm.
ain't even got to
Oh,
know
I
your
love
birthday.
this feminism. Give me more of that.
Facts.
But what
Feminism
about
has
the women who
so what I'm saying is a lot of the decisions that you think were just yours was really about the environment and time period that
She
you were
grew up in.
that you were born into, that
Mm-hmm.
some of this stuff is normalized. OnlyFans ain't normalized. Having double-digit men over a 20-year time period ain't normalized.
She doesn't like it. Man, shout out to Jeff. Round of applause. Oh my God. Oh my God. But did you see her face? Did you see the facial expressions? The disgust. Because it's like if a brother who's well articulate, because they usually talk about, oh, your tone. I believe I speak with a very calm, soft. I believe I'm soft spoken, but I believe Jeff does such a better job than me when explaining these issues. Right? Obviously, he's psychologist, so maybe that's also a good thing, right? But even with the way he speaks, because they demonize Kevin Samuels for being maybe loud or rude, whatever. But the way he's speaking, look at the disgust in her face. That tells you she didn't grow up with a father. That tells you she has never listened. She believes listening to a black man is like the worst thing a woman can do. Like the feminism runs deep in the blood, like the disgust. At least Sean, some of you guys have watched these videos that are reactive from Lapif. Shout out to Lapif. At least Sean, for the first time, and I can't believe I'm saying this, for the first time, Sean was the one who was receptive to the message. But this woman, the disgust she has for the brother just speaking and trying to explain why she's in the position she's in, she's looking at it like she wants to even blame him. So she is saying she's independent because there's no man, but now she also wants to blame the man. It's like, what about you look in the mirror and think about all the types of choices you've made from when you're 18 to the time you're 44? Man, a shout out to St. James. Link down below to St. James, link down below to Lapif. He was cooking. Bravo, man, bravo.